Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. It's been a while since you've seen my face. I know I have been away, like I told you guys last time around. I was in Croatia. I did have a good time. You can probably see from the color of my skin, I am brown. I had a nice time. It was 34, 35 degrees out there. Lots happening in and around Chelsea whilst I was away as well, which is interesting stuff that we're sort of going to have to go through as well. Obviously, after the Jules Koundé to Barcelona thing, which happened just before I went away. Big up to every single one of you guys that are in the chat already. Nice to see yous all here as well. We're going to go through the chat in a second. I've got Pies with me as well, so he'll be going through the news today as well. Lots happening in and around Chelsea at the moment to discuss, give our thoughts and opinions. There is a super chat option for you guys to get involved as well on both GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. So if you've got any questions, please use the super chat option for us to get the question, get your questions answered as well. But smash the like buttons, guys. Get these likes up on both channels. Over 200 likes on both, please. And before we move forward, let's cue that intro. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for another Chelsea talk show, transfer show for you guys to get through, get your opinions, understand, go through the news as well. Before we move forward, I will be going through the chat to see how you are all doing, as always. But we do have CFC Pies with us again today. Pies, how are we doing, mate?
Doing good, bro. Busy time in the transfer market right now. Yes, lots of stuff going on, lots of new news to talk about. Seems like Chelsea are trying to move fast this week in lots of negotiations, and obviously Everton at the weekend as well. So that should be pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
Lovely. Just to let you guys know as well, because there's over 200 of you here already. We have Ben Jacobs joining us tomorrow. I think it was around either 12 or 1. I need to check with him, actually. He said lunchtime. So Ben Jacobs will be on the show tomorrow. So make sure that you guys are around for that as well. But continue hitting them likes. Just say hello to everyone in the chat. I like cement. Yeah, I know you do, Lukaku. That's why you've left Chelsea. Texas Blue. This is a Koundé 2.0. Chelsea fans will never learn is how he feels. CFC Ali, nice to see you in the chat as well. Concierge of Crime. Pick up to you, my man. Chelsea Database. How was my holiday? My holiday was good, mate. Very tiring. I drank a lot and didn't sleep enough is probably what I would say, to be honest. But yeah, all good, mate. All good. Nice to be back here as well. Philly's here as well. He's saying we need to get Cucurella sorted. Let's not let Brian take the mic here. It's been an absolutely draining window. Big up to yourself. Declared, bro. Nice to see you, man. Nice to be back. Chelsea boy, nice to see you as well. Pitt, nice to see you. Michael Loftus, Matthew, Sir Timo Werner, nice to see you as well. Karma Koundé, it literally is Karma Koundé. I actually took a break at the right time, actually, when all this Koundé stuff happened. Big up to Treble as well. He says, like the stream, support a brilliant host, grow a quality channel. Big up to you, my man. Thank you, Matt, very much. Dave, big up to you. Erin, nice to see you as well. Milan Seppers as well. God, there's so many of you. Sam, nice to see you in the house. I hope you are well. Ilias, nice to see you as well. Carefree Extra. CFC Jack. Andreas, man, nice to see you, man. Nice to see you. I'm so tired of these sagas. My nerves will not hold after Rafinha and Koundé. We have been through what we would like to call a roller coaster. It's been crazy times. Big up to you, bro. Watching from Turkey. Nice to see you. Watching. It must be nice and hot as well. It must be nice and hot. Let us know where you are from in Turkey. It'd be good to know. Pedro, nice to see you. Hassan, you buying that Koundé Barcelona top? No, I'm blimmin' not. All right. Don't even talk. Just let's not talk about Koundé. Honestly, let's just not talk about Koundé. It's probably better for all of us that we don't do that as well. But the Premier League starts this weekend as well. Chelsea are back against Everton away as well. Tuchel still trying to obviously get the players that he needs in for this for this season as well. We've also got Koulibaly in. We've got Sterling in. He's already here as well. Chelsea working hard on many other deals as well, which we're going to be discussing. Make sure we're hitting them likes. Subscribe to the channel as well. And let's start getting into this, starting with news more closer to home. And we're going to start talking about, why is it every time I look for something on here, it's not there. It's not that one, not that one, that one, not that one. Where's the Simon Phillips one? Oh, there it is. All right, it comes up now. Claims from Simon. That ain't Simon Phillips, is it? Oh, it's Simon Phillips. Maybe now. I thought it was a fake account then. Shit myself. The Arsenal claims Chelsea have set an asking price of 25 million euros for Marcos Alonso and Azpilicueta, but Barcelona don't have any intention of paying such a high fee. I've been told to keep an eye on the Depay situation here as well. I mean, players, we'll start closer to home as well. Alonso and Azpilicueta are two players that want to leave. Obviously, we've been told that they're all going to go to Barcelona. Seems like Chelsea are overpricing both of the players. How confident are you that Chelsea will allow both of these players to go, or do you feel that we may keep both for either or?
Yeah, I'm not really sure on this. I think well, I mean, Alonso's definitely going to leave if we wrap up Cucurella, but that's a different situation. I don't necessarily believe this report of 25 million euros. Not sure on the source, to be honest. Spanish sources aren't the greatest. Yeah, it's not one that's familiar to me anyway. But yeah, I'd like to see both leave, but I've always said I think one will leave. Who that will be, I'm not sure, but yeah, we'll see.
I think Alonso needs to go. I get the whole thing with Azpilicueta to a degree. I just think it just depends on who we bring through the door, which is more the thing. I think both in their way should go, really, when you think about Alonso. I think Cucurella is a big, and we're going to talk a bit about him later on, actually, and how he can work, how we can utilize him and stuff like that. But I think the Cucurella thing would definitely be a sign of him leaving. Obviously, we're hearing that Emerson and Lazio and Maurizio Sarri, for example, were trying to get that deal done where they try and get him in. Maybe that happens if we do get the Cucurella deal done. But with Azpilicueta, it's a tricky one because obviously we know that Chelsea are in with Fofana. We also know that by getting rid of these players, the lack of depth is not there. Forgetting the quality at the moment of the individual, it's the depth element as well. So do Chelsea look to keep Azpilicueta for, I don't know, say for another season? Maybe against his will to a degree, because I do feel that he does probably want to leave this football club. But at the same time, you're going to let maybe potentially Carl Will go and others, then in theory, you're going to need to make sure that you've got other people there to bring through. And I don't know, the Azpilicueta one for me is a little bit tricky. I do feel Alonso will happen. I still feel that will happen more than anything. But we'll have to see with the Azpilicueta thing and see if this picks up anymore. Obviously, we've got still a couple good weeks of the window on this one as well. So let's see what happens at a later stage in regards to both Azpilicueta and Alonso. Big up to Arjan Gill in the house as well. Nice to see you. At the moment, guys, we've got over 180, nearly 200 people on the GNA TV side. Only 50 likes. Let's get this to 100, guys. If you haven't hit the like button, please do, and subscribe, because we are so close to that 7K mark. We're about 120 subscribers away from hitting 7K subscribers on GNA TV. Chelsea Fan TV, guys, nearly over 200 of you guys there as well. Only 66 likes. Let's get this over 100 likes as quick as possible. Please subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV as well. And they're trying to close the gap to 155K subscribers there. And let's subscribe on both channels, guys. So Chelsea Fan TV, guys, go and subscribe to GNA TV, and vice versa. GNA TV, go and subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV as well. I want to move into midfield players just quickly and just talk about the comments in and around Jorginho and Kante from Simon Phillips, because basically it says here, I'm told the initial meeting has happened with Kante and Jorginho regarding contracts. Nothing has been concluded. Further talks scheduled. This to me suggests there isn't a lot of confidence on either side extensions will happen. He's making it sound like he don't feel that it's being resolved, that it should be resolved, and it's not been resolved, and further talks are to be scheduled. Maybe it does sort itself out. I don't see either of these two players going anywhere this season. What are your overall thoughts on the whole Kante and Jorginho contracts?
I think it's interesting. I think Jorginho's been pretty vocal lately of wanting to stay and really loving Chelsea. But he has always wanted to go back to Italy, so I found some of his quotes a bit surprising lately. And also Kante, I think he probably will leave. I've got a feeling he may want a new challenge. I mean, he's been here so many years. So yeah, I mean, with the amount of midfielders we're linked to, and not only linked to, but in discussions for, I mean, you know, Frankie de Jong obviously going to be very hard to do because he's so much money. But we've got Carney as well from Aston Villa who we've signed, who seems to be going straight into the first team. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely looking at midfielders for the future, and also the present because you know they're both over 30, so it's really important that we do get some more midfield signings in. Midfield was one of the positions last season where I felt we did end up lacking depth and quality because they were, you know, Jorginho had to play so many games. It might be a bit better this season because he's not going to the World Cup, but um, you know, Kovacic always gets sort of an injury, sort of once a month. We have Kante. I mean, he gets injured all the time. So yeah, Ruben seems to be playing wing back, and I don't know if he's going to stay. So yeah, we definitely need midfielders. You know, Kovacic really is the only one that plays regularly with Jorginho, but even he, as I said before, gets an injury so every season. So it's important we have options for sure.
I think options is the key thing. Obviously, we learned from last season losing Kante, as we have done for a couple of seasons. Kovacic is another one who can be overplayed and pick up an injury here and there. I think it's very important that we do have depth there, even if they're going to stay. You know, bring in players in and around them and rotate that midfield well. We play 50 games a season, and I think it's very important that we make sure that there is, there's backing there, there's ammunition there, there's, we don't have to force players to continue playing in them positions. And obviously, look at what we still have with that some of the deadwoods like the Ross Barkleys, and you've got Ruben Loftus Cheek there. Billy Gilmore's still on there. You got Conor Gallagher as an option. Like some of these players are not specifically made to play in that 6 role, and some people say, well, we need a DM, we need a box to box, we need this, that. I agree. I just think we need someone with the profile of a 6 rather than forcing players that are more of an 8 and a 10 to play in the position of a 6. And that could bite us in the bum later in the season. May not, may do. We'll have to wait and see at a later stage throughout the season. But it's going to be interesting to see what we do from now to the end of the transfer window in regards to the midfield, because we're going to talk about De Jong a bit later on. We've still got Fofana to get into. We've still got Cucurella to get into. We've still got some other bits to get into as well. We're also going to talk about Chelsea and Todd Bowley as well. So lots to get into in and around that. We have to see what happens with Kante and Jorginho. Will their contracts be extended? Will they look to leave? I do think one of them, or maybe both, may leave next season. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Over 550 of you guys here already combined. Big up to every single one of you guys. But make sure that we're smashing the like buttons, guys, as well. And subscribe both to GNA TV and to Chelsea Fan TV as well. What do we think of the pie to Chelsea? Pies? Do you want to sum that one up quickly for you?
Yeah, I mean it's an option. We're going to want another forward, right? If Werner leaves, Ziyech's future's still up in the air. So I think Depay's actually, I think his agent's filing for free agency, right? So I mean he would be a free agent now instead of paying what I think Barca wanted, like 15, 20 million euros or pounds. I can't remember which one it was, but in any sense, I think it could be an interesting deal for Chelsea. It's not my favourite transfer, but he's versatile. He has scored goals for Barcelona. So I don't know. It's an interesting one. I don't know. Maybe talk more when there's more links out there because I'm not really sure what I think at the moment of that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm not too sure on the profile of player. I know some people feel that he offers the versatility. Not sure about the goals. He does score goals, and he can contribute, but I'm just not sure on him. I think I'd need to talk to Barcelona fans more about their thoughts on Depay before making sense. Some people saying Depay is terrible, like Josh. He feels that it's a bad idea. I would avoid Depay. That's what Matt's saying as well. So yeah, some people are feeling maybe not a good option for Tuchel. Depay full time perfect for Tuchel's system. Some people feel it could happen. Big up to Real Chris in the house. There's over 200 people, but not over 100 likes. Let's try and get over 100 likes on both, please, guys. Big up to every single one of you that are here as well. Just some quick little news on just come out now, actually, from Mr. Pletty Gull with Florian Plettenberg, who's commented comments on Timo Werner via the director. Vivel told himself, of course, we find him exciting. He's incredibly fast and a German international. We have been in exchange with him since his transfer, but we are not close to a deal, and we'll only announce it when it makes sense. So that's the RB is RB Leipzig, right? The RB Leipzig director, Vivel. So, that is interesting, isn't it, to say the least? I mean, Timo Werner staying at Chelsea, guys. I know your thoughts on him. Do you think that he will stay, or do you feel that there might be a
No,
deal to
he
drop?
can't. He can't stay. I don't want him to stay. He needs to go, bro. I think there's a deal to do for it as well, for sure. I do expect him to end up at RB Leipzig, probably alone, hopefully with an obligation, so they have to purchase him because getting annoyed with all these, options to buy. But we need to start getting some obligations in there so we can have some guaranteed money next summer as well.
Interesting stuff. And while we're on the forward line, because as I'm talking to you, I'm refreshing Twitter and I'm getting more stuff come through as we speak. I think Timo Werner does need to go. I don't think he suits the Tuchel system. I don't think we play anywhere to the level that maybe, or the system that would suit him. I do think if he goes elsewhere, there may be an opportunity that he will bang goals again, maybe back in the German league where it's a bit more open and he can run in behind and be more effective. I'm not really sure. Like Ziyech, for me, not too sure that the league is for Timo Werner. And obviously, we know that his wage structure, his wage bill at the moment is very high, takes a lot of money off the football club, and we're not ultimately getting anything out of it. And that's a real big issue for me. So, if we can strike a deal to get rid of him and also reducing the wage bill, which allows us to, structure better deals and have a bit more money and a better balance of the book, which is more important, then, we should look to do that. But we'll have to see what happens again later on with someone like Timo Werner. Will he stay? Will he go? We'll wait to see. Simon Phillips just brought out a comment in and around Thomas Tuchel and Broja. And he says here that Thomas Tuchel and Broja had a meeting after the Udinese game. And Thomas Tuchel said he wanted Broja to stay. He was happy after the chat. The likelihood is he will now stay in the squad. But of course, I'd be silly to say that it's 100% that he's staying. Now, West Ham were very interested in Pies, but obviously they signed Scamacca, is it? Like his name is Scamacca, whatever his name is, obviously up front. So maybe that dies off and probably limits more of his options of where he wants to go. But Thomas Tuchel's always kind of made it very clear that he wants Broja around, even when Broja was not, was sent home because of his injury, and we're being told that he was looking elsewhere or he didn't feel like he was going to be involved heavily. I mean, Broja staying at Chelsea is a good thing for you?
Oh yeah, 100%. I really wanted to stay. I mean, even in the Udinese game, he missed chances, but I thought he adds a profile we don't have. He's fast, he's strong. We kind of got a lot of false nine, sort of, small, sort of dribbly wingers. But yeah, here we've got a profile which is really important to have. An out and out striker. Obviously, we had Lukaku, but Broja for me has just got that tenacity in his game. Like he's a fighter, bro. He gives me like Diego Costa vibes, like with the way he plays. He's a bit of a bulldozer. You could see that already in the Udinese game, and I think he'll have a good season, bro. I really think he will surprise people. I think he's a really good player. I think it's important that he stays and we didn't sell him. So yeah, I'm happy that he's going to stay. It looks like he's going to stay. Hopefully we don't cave into any late offers. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I think Broja is a good option. I think, again, it gives us the option to use an actual number 9. He is a number 9. We are supposedly looking for one, as of what being told. I still feel that Thomas Tuchel doesn't want that. I think he does want people to score goals, but I think it's more of a contribution from inside forwards, a bit like what Liverpool do, where they have numbers of goals, double digits of goals from their front forward line. And they're not exactly your typical number 9s, but they're players that are able to score goals, create goals, dribble, be direct. And I just feel that maybe he's looking to go down that route. So we'll have to see it later. So I think Broja, if he wants to keep Broja, I think Broja will be used. And I think rotation's key. And I think Kai Havertz, ultimately, as much as I do like him, I do think he needs to have a bit of pressure behind him. Not having no one to be able to play in that position, maybe in his head makes him feel that he hasn't got to be pushed as much. And maybe he needs a bit of a push going into the season, and that's why competition for places is very important. It's always good to have competition. And it's going to be interesting to see how Tuchel utilizes both Broja and Kai Havertz in and around. Broja has been given a number for this season. Broja has been given a number for this season? Yeah, has he? I don't even know. Has he got a kit number yet? Do we know? Do you know,
I think
Pies?
so. Yeah, I think he has. Yeah, but Batshuayi also got one lead left, so uh,
Big
or
up
he is
to
leaving. Yeah.
big up to Sammy. He says, yeah, I've had a good holiday, mate. Generally, I've had a good holiday. Thank you. It feels good to be back as well, getting back into the swing of things as well. He also says, big up to everyone watching and CFC Pies as well. Big up to you, my man. Thank you for coming in. Nearly over 700 of you guys here, 20 minutes in. Smash the like button, guys. Let's get this over 200 likes on both channels. Subscribe to both as well. GNA TV is about 100 odd subscribers away from 7K. Let's try and make that today. So if you don't subscribe to GNA TV, please subscribe to that. But also subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV as well. And as they're on the road to 155K. Now, we're just going to quickly touch on this player before we start talking about the Cucurellas and the Fofanas and other bits and bobs, which we've still got coming your way. It's the comments around from Absolute Chelsea in regards to a certain player. And it says basically from Nizar Kinsella, it says Chelsea want to follow their move for Mr. Carney, which we're going to talk about a bit later. But it also says that Chelsea are interested in Casadei as a part of a succession plan to replace Kante and Jorginho. And then it goes on to also say, despite having 2 bids already rejected by Inter Milan for Mr. Casadei, it says Todd Boehly is keen to back Neil Bath as the club continue to invest in the academy. What's your thoughts on that, Piers? I mean, I haven't watched enough of this guy, so I don't know how good this player is, but it sounds like Chelsea are trying to buy in these young prospects that have got sort of a bit of a name for themselves across Europe. So what's your thoughts on this one?
Oh yeah, I mean these aren't just any academy prospects. Like these are top talents. Yeah, I was speaking to a few Inter fans, and they said like this kid, you know, he's amazing in midfield. He's really good. He's their best young player. He scored 17 goals from centre mid in the academy last season. Yeah, he's a very good prospect, and also like other links lately as well. Like obviously we've signed Carney, not pronouncing his second name, but he is just bro. He is really good. He played 12 times in the Premier League last season. Only started 2, but yeah, he's a top talent, and you know we're heavily investing, and this is something that I expected as well because you know obviously I've got my website. And yeah, we had one of our writers wrote about Todd Boehly and sort of his LA Dodgers work when, you know, they first signed up and, you know, got the ownership of Chelsea. And he said in there, look, you know, they really, Todd Boehly specifically really likes investing in young talent for the future. They do that with the Dodgers as well. They're constantly looking for top prospects, top, you know, performing through data and things like that, performances throughout all ages. So, yeah, I'm really liking the mix here, and you know, one of the kids we've been linked to lately as well is Endrick from Brazil, 16
Yeah.
years old. I tell you what, bro, he's got like 145 goals in like 150 games for Palmeiras. I think it is. He's like genuinely. I think Barca and Real Madrid want him. He's like literally. I know this gets said all the time, but he's he's now the next big thing out of Brazil, and on like compilations where he just looks ridiculous. He looks like Santos. He looks like Neymar at Santos. Literally insane. So if we bagged him as well, like we're set for the future, bro. We got Amari Hutchinson as well that we signed for Arsenal. You saw Arsenal fans' reaction to losing him. We signed Slanina, who Real Madrid wanted. Like some of these, you know, youth slash future signings for our first team are gassing me up, bro, because they're not just any young signings. They're the top prospects around the world for these positions.
Yeah, that's mad, isn't it? That's mad. I'm actually looking at a 1 second. I'm just trying to sort this out. Actually, let me get this probably. If anyone wants to know who this Endrick boy is, yeah, we can actually quickly have a look at him now. Actually, let's do it. Let's have a look because, do you know what? I was quite surprised of his ability. Caught me because when you put it in the group about I'll watch this Endrick guy, and I was like, all right, I'll check it out. I was actually watching him briefly anyway, and I know a lot of people get a lot of like. Let me minus mute this as well. Get a lot of like gas for these young players, and they end up not being great. But watching this boy, who's pretty good, I'll give you a bit example here of him here. So this is Endrick for Palmeiras, who he pays for as well. So this is the player that everyone's talking about. It's Chelsea scout was talking about as well, wasn't it? He was quite quite keen on him as well. But when you look at his goal scoring record over there as well, and his ability on and off with the ball, you know, he has something about him that you can see why some of the top European clubs are so interested in.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. Like, do any of our attackers pull that off? Even try that?
No.
Like, that is just. Bro, this kid's 16. 16. Like, can you imagine what this kid's gonna be like when he's 20, 21? Like, he's literally ridiculous. Just watch
He's
some of these clips, bro.
yeah, you know, I've only managed to use this because there's no
But
link.
acceleration,
Look at that.
dribble
Look
in
at that.
there, the chip, like, bro,
That is a special finish. And I know obviously apparently he's a big fan of Real Madrid. Apparently people feel he might go to Real Madrid as well. But when you look at the ability of the kid, it's very good. I know people say, well, look at the league though. It's the league that he's playing in. But look at that.
but
that is ridiculous.
Look at that, bro. Like
would he get? He should really get. Well, he could get into the Chelsea first team from what I'm seeing right now. Some
bro,
of these
he's
goals.
ridiculous. Like, you got to deep his age, bro. He's 16 years old. Like, I literally, when I was watching these comps yesterday, I couldn't believe it. I thought he was at least like 19, 20, but like even that, like the improvisation there, to think of that at 16 years old, that little chip through ball, like some of his link up, like his shots, bro, it's just, he looks, I know
Yeah.
comps are comps, but I am, bro, come on. This kid looks unbelievable. There's a reason why Real Madrid and Barca want him.
Yeah,
I think I was seeing stuff like 25, 30 million as well for 16-year-old. Like, it's crazy.
Can you imagine when he gets to 20? Do you think it could be another sort of like Kylian Mbappe coming out of the blue sort of thing? You know, like that good, like at his young age. Like,
I mean,
16 years old.
he looks like his intelligence for his age looks unbelievable. I'll say that for sure.
There you go, guys. A little clip of Endrick. I didn't know much about him, but watching that, I tell you what, the guy's got the ability to finish. His left foot is very good. His dribbling ability is very good. You know, people say 16 years old, he's still very young. Of course he is. He's still got to grow into the game, mature, become the player that he's going to become. But all good signs when you see some of the abilities that he has and getting him in a top team, playing with better players and adapting his game and becoming better, it's an option. And this is why Chelsea maybe and Todd Bowley and others are looking at, and the scouting team are looking at the prospects. And we're going to talk about Carney next as well. And these are not just your standard prospects. These ain't just a player that's pretty decent in a certain league. These are players that are out there across Europe or across the world, banging in goals, at a stupid rate, and are being watched by the Barcelonas around us. These are players that are for the future. And this is ultimately what I kept saying we need to start doing. It's not about us always thinking about the next big name, like just sign Neymar at 32 years old, for example, or Ronaldo at 37 because of his name. It's about finding the next big thing. And we have to go and do that and try and do that, and look to the future. And that's how we have to have it. And if it means we don't win anything for the first season or two or whatever, because we're doing that and we're trying to, recoup and build a team that someone doesn't want to play against. And I'm down for that, providing that there's an understanding and a clear pathway of what we're going to do. But we have to see what happens. Winter Surfer, big up to you for the donations. He's a striker. He won't make it here, is what Winter Surfer saying as well. Big up to you for the donation as well.
I'm pretty sure he's a winger / striker.
Well, he's an inside forward. You could use him as like an inside forward. What I was saying to you guys, someone that can dribble, be direct, score goals, create. He has the ability to get to take people on in tight pockets of spaces as well. Why not is what I'm saying. Why would you not want someone like that? But anyway, moving on away from that, the news that came out of nowhere yesterday. I mean, I'm going to ask you this, guys. Carney, obviously, again, I've watched bits of him. Top quality player with the ability to be able to play in different positions as well. Young prospect. This news sort of came out of the blue, didn't it, yesterday? Because was there any talks? I was away, so I don't know. But was there any talks in and around Chelsea signing Carney at this point?
Nah, literally nothing. There was stuff a few weeks ago about like Chelsea in talks with Barcelona were favourites. Fabrizio Romano said, but then all of a sudden it was like bang, Chelsea released a tweet. I was like, what am I seeing? And then I think I will say this though, Aston Villa seem to be the only club that can keep this sort of stuff on the wraps. They must be very good at sort of keeping leaks away from their club, because they did this with Danny Ings last summer. Everyone was like, how they've just signed Danny Ings. Like, where's this come from? There was no links, no rumours, no like talks, no leaks of a here we go or a fee agreed. It was just two clubs putting out a statement, and then crazy, bro, massive surprise. It caught everyone by shock, and yeah, I love it really. I love the fact that this happened because he's a very good player, and
Well,
yeah, another one for the future, and maybe even the present. I mean, Fabrizio
yeah.
Romano said in his video yesterday that Tuchel apparently met him and said, "Look, I think you can make an impact immediately." So I don't think he's going to go on loan, to be honest with you.
Well, that was going to be my next question to you. Do you feel that it's one that's going to be used as rotation in this first team squad, or do you feel that he will be used sort of bought in and then loaned back out? I don't see Chelsea spending, is it 20 mil, 15 mil, 15, 20 mil on a prospect like him, which says they're 20 mil in packages actually for Fabrizio Romano. But actually it says Chelsea player for 50 million fee plus add-ons, so 20 mil package overall. I think Thomas Tuchel has spoken to this player, and I read something on this actually, spoken to this player, and actually what's probably persuaded him is the amount of probably game time or offers that Tuchel's willing to give him. I think Thomas Tuchel sees a young player that is maturing and growing, that he feels that he can manage and get the best out of, and he's probably looking a bit ahead past the Jorginhos, past the Canes. How would you utilize Carney though in this Chelsea team in the Tuchel system if you was if he was to play for the first team?
Well, I think it'd probably be someone like maybe Kovacic's deputy. Obviously, we have Gallagher as well, but I don't like Gallagher in the pivot. Everyone knows my thoughts about that. Yeah, this kid though is really good on the ball. Really good at going forward. He's strong. He's physical. He's fast. Yeah, he played in the League Cup against us as well for Aston Villa
I saw that.
against us, and
Yeah.
yeah, bro, he looked really good. I remember him coming on. I think he came on. Might, yeah, because I was there. I got free tickets to that game, luckily. So yeah, he was really good, and I think he could play on the pivot, but again, we need to see him. Like we need to see him in the system, see how he adapts and stuff like that. But yeah, it'll be very interesting if he stays because players at this age they want to play, and so yeah, it'd be interesting because we have got Gallagher, we have got Kante, Jorginho, Kovacic. So yeah, there's also 5 subs as well. So he could come on in some Premier League games. He played 12 Premier League games for Aston Villa, only started 2, so he was used more of a sub. So yeah, huge talent though, definitely.
Talking about players that obviously that are coming in, and it looks like we're sort of recouping. Do you still expect a lot to still leave, even though we're getting close to the beginning of the season? Obviously, like I'm talking about the deadwoods, like the Ross Barkleys and Alonso might go, and the others, should we say, Batshuayi, all these guys. Do you think that's going to happen? Do you think we're going to do that, or do you think we're going to be stuck with them?
I've been a bit more positive the last couple of days. Monaco have agreed a loan deal for Malang Sarr with a £10 million option, so that's good. We're just waiting for a centre back or maybe Cucurella to come in. I think that was, and yeah, there's not really been links on Ross Barkley. I mean, Everton are apparently in talks with Batshuayi. We have Alonso and Azpi that are obviously dependent on other things. So yeah, I feel like we will get rid of him. And the thing is, like, you know, the window, obviously the season shuts, but the window for some of these guys, you can take it into the final days, the final week or two of the window, because clubs will definitely be sort of looking for a cheap buy, maybe a loan, later on in the window. So I'm confident a lot of these guys that we consider dead will eventually go.
100%. Yeah, I think we need to, and I think that's the whole point of trying to balance. But ultimately, it's about getting your targets in and then working on getting rid of players, even if you just have to cut your losses. And some, I think we need to start having that sort of attitude because they're just taking up space for me, and it doesn't make no sense. But I am excited for this player. I think he's a good young prospect. I think Tuchel will probably use him as rotation, but it then goes to what does it mean for like the Gilmores and others that are still in the team as well? Are they going to be loaned out? Are they going to be kept? Are they going to be sold? There's so much that Chelsea still have to do or still have to get through. It's going to be really interesting. HR14 says apparently he's got attitude problem. That's the only negative. What young kid at his age doesn't have an attitude problem? Do you know what I mean? That someone always has, someone has that sort of thing. But Lee Bruce is a Villa fan. He says Gerrard left Carney out of the squad for months because he wouldn't sign a new deal. Played him a few games towards the end of the season though. He's good enough, 100% is what Lee Bruce saying. He says, I'm a Villa fan, by the way. So There you go. Thoughts from a Villa fan. Over 800 of you guys here, guys. Make sure we smash the likes. Let's get this up. Like I said, GNA TV, we're on the road to 7K subscribers there at the moment. I don't know how many subscribers we've got. We can always have a quick look while we're at it. We're just under... Well, actually, let's have a quick look. Why not? As we're so close to the 7K, it'd be great to get to 7K today, to be honest. So we're 100 subscribers away. 100 subscribers away from hitting 7K on this stream. So if you haven't subscribed to GNA TV, please subscribe today. And let's see if we can get this over 7K subscribers before we finish the show. Chelsea Fan TV, guys, as well. Make sure that you're smashing the likes. 170 likes there. Over 409 of you guys there as well. Big up to you guys. Get this over 200 likes. Subscribe to the channel as well. But yeah, let's move on from Carney. We're going to start talking more into depth now about some of the more, so we say interesting, but more of the bigger prospects as well. Actually, probably such a lazy excuse about a player is what Winter Service says as well. So let's move on. Got this comment for Fofana. Fofana's an interesting one that I've actually wanted to talk about as well, because Al Thomas, who works for Sky Sports, has come out saying, as we reflect on the transfer show last night, Leicester won't stand in Wesley Fofana's way if he's determined to leave and a Champions League club makes an acceptable offer, but they do not want to sell him. It will take a big bid, is what we've been told here. Chelsea have supposedly, from what we've been told, offered Wesley Fofana around 200,000 a week in wages to join, should the Foxes choose to sell, but have also apparently offered more than 50 million for the player, which is what I've just got on a different tab as well. Players, when you look at the player Fofana, how much he is, the type of player he is, how confident are you that Chelsea will sign? Obviously, we know he's took it Leicester off his bio and stuff like that. Seems to be wanting to push a deal out. Do you think Chelsea will get him? And ultimately, do you think Chelsea is spending a bit too much for the player?
I mean, I don't know. I'd go 70 million. I think 80 million is pushing it. But again, you know, this is probably the best young centre-back in the world. He's very, very good. The only problem for me is his injuries. I'm still a little bit worried. But, you know, he could come to Chelsea and pick up another big injury. You know, it's 70, 80 million wasted. That seems to sort of happen to Chelsea, where big money signings never really fully go like, you know, amazing. There's always something, whether it be their performance, injuries, stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, I would definitely drop big money on him because, you know, we're set for years with him, especially as one of our centre backs. He's very, very good. But I don't know. I don't see this happening, bro. Like, I don't see us doing it. I feel like we'll offer swap deals and money, but I can't see us laying down, you know, 75, 80 million. Maybe I'm wrong, but, you know, as well, I'm sure we're going to come on to De Jong, but, you know, De Jong's 70 million, Cucurella's 50 million, Fofana's 80 million. We've already spent 80 million, so we're going to get transfer banned soon if we do all these. So, yeah, I mean, there doesn't seem to be a huge amount of sales going out the door either. As I said on my Twitter the other day, you know, the links and the negotiations are all really sort of, you know, loans with options. So it's not like we've got, you know, 100 million in sales lined up, which could then allow you to spend big on a Fofana without worrying. So, I mean, it's very interesting. I don't feel like we'll end up with all three of Fofana, Cucurella, Frankie. And remember as well, if Werner leaves, we need another attacker. So, you know, all the dots don't really add up just yet for me. I'm just waiting to see what happens, to be honest with you.
I mean, yeah, I've got a comment here saying someone argued that Fofana is not ready for this stage of football. He still needs more experience. What number is Chukwuemeka going to play if he's not in the academy? We don't know yet. We're not too sure. I'm stuck with this because I get why we're looking for him. Obviously, we are still looking for a centre back at the same time. The price tag for me is a little bit heavy for him. I know he's still young. I know he's a great prospect, but to sign someone for 80 million sterling that's played for Leicester, that hasn't played in the Champions League, you know, ultimately hasn't got that experience, I'm not sure on. I think he's a good player, and I think he's worth around 40 to 50 million. But I do feel that a lot of clubs are holding us, or just looking at Chelsea and knowing the position we're in and trying to get as much money as they can out of us. Now, I think he's a good player. I do think he would suit the Tuchel system. I think we could use him in different systems, which is what Tuchel wants. He wants the 3, he wants to switch into a 4. It allows him to do that with Fofana. Koulibaly gives him that opportunity. Fofana would give him that opportunity. But ultimately, it falls down to money again. And it's a lot of money. You know, it's a lot of money to sign a player for nearly 80 million. Now, Chelsea, you know, they may be able to negotiate it for less. Maybe, I don't know, throw a player in it. I can't think of a player that they could potentially use, and if Leicester would want it. But if ultimately, if Fofana is pushing himself out the door, and this thing with the whole taking his Leicester out of his bio and whatever, and you know, he doesn't want to be there, which is cool. Ultimately, if Leicester value him at such a high price and he puts in a request to leave, that will devalue his price anyway. So I think this is going to be a waiting game for Fofana. I think it's going to be a chess game. I think it's going to be that Chelsea don't want to spend what Leicester want and have put pressure on Fofana through personal terms. If they've offered him 200k a week, that's a lot of money, I think, for him. Don't get me wrong. And that ultimately will plant the seed in his head to want to leave the football club. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with him at a later stage. Am I worried about Mendy's form? No, I don't worry about pre-season form. I think we have to wait and see how he plays throughout. I think with Mendy, the big question will be his consistency, because we know he's played well under Thomas Tuchel. He's had moments, but ultimately, overall, he's been pretty good. So he's going to have to pick that up as well. We did sign that goalie, didn't we? Slanina as well. Is he going to be in the first team, or is he going to be? Do we know?
No, he's going back out on loan until January. So yeah, he's going back to the MLS team.
Yeah, all right, cool, interesting stuff. Like I said to you guys, Ben Jacobs is joining us tomorrow around lunchtime. I'm not sure if it's 12 or 1 o'clock, so make sure that you guys are around for that. Over 800 of you guys here. Big up to every single one of you guys. Keep smashing that like, though. Let's get this over 200 likes on both channels, guys. Let's get this over 200 likes. We've got 448 people on Chelsea Fan TV. Only 195 likes there. Let's get them up. On the GNA TV side, we've got over 360. Let's get this over 200 likes, guys. Subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. As close the subscribers, please do that. Right. We spoke about Fofana, and an interesting one which has come out of the blue, because I actually thought he was going to Man City, is the news in and around Mr. Cucurella. Now, Chelsea have submitted a bid worth more than 50 million for Cucurella on Tuesday evening. Club now hopeful to reach the full agreement with Brighton. Still no official answer. Cucurella is pushing to join Chelsea. He wants to move. But there's also a mention about Levi Colwill in a supposed separate deal to try and persuade Brighton to sell him. Pies, what is the news around from what you've heard in around Cucurella? Is there any more new news in around him? And what's your thoughts on the player as well?
Yeah, first of all, I think he's a very good player. I think he's very versatile. Left wing back, played a lot at left centre back last season as well. For Brighton, was very, very good. He actually played there in the game against us, I believe. When we drew 1-1 at Stamford Bridge, he got the assist to Welbeck's header. Yeah, he's a very good player. Also, left mid as well for Getafe. So, sometimes when we play that sort of 4-2-2 or the 4-4-2, he could be an outlet on the wing because he's quick. He's a good technical player. He's a good dribbler. He's good going forward. He creates chances as well. I think he created the third most amount of open play chances from a fullback last season. Reece James and Trent were higher. I think Reece had one more. Cancelo and Robertson created less. So, we're getting a very, very good player if we complete the deal, because it seems like Brighton are maybe moving the goalposts. They're really pushing for Levi Colwill. Yeah, I know they really, really want him. They want him on a permanent as well. Chelsea want some sort of buyback. But yeah, I think there's also been reporting that Brighton want sort of a first refusal clause, which is what we have on Marc Guehi. Personally, I find it's pretty useless, because essentially what it is, if no one knows or some of you don't know, it's so say Brighton buy Levi Colwill, say we sell him, and then next summer or January, for example, I'm just going to say a random club, Man United bid for Levi Colwill, and they say, look, here's £50 million. Brighton then have to immediately contact Chelsea and say, Man United have made a bid for £50 million. Here is your right to match it. So it's kind of like a first refusal. We get the option to match it. And if we say no, then Brighton can decide to sell him. They basically can't do a future sale for Colwill without contacting us. It's like a legal thing, like a contractually binding agreement. So I just think it's pretty useless because unless, it's for a good price, then I don't know. Sometimes, most of the time, you can get buybacks for cheaper than what the first refusal will be. So I don't know. It's a bit of an interesting one. We have it with Gay. We had it with Nathan Ake as well when he was at Bournemouth before he joined Man City, and we decided not to. Which is why it's kind of ironic that this summer we was after Ake. We're like, why didn't you just use the first refusal option when City wanted him? But Tuchel wasn't here then, so I guess. But yeah, it's going to be it's an interesting day today because look, Monday was practically done. We're now on Wednesday, and we're still sort of going back and forth with Brighton. It's like it's one of those things again. I'm just sick of the back and forth. Like sick of Brighton telling us, like look, Chelsea waiting for Brighton to decide. Like hurry up, man. Like seriously, it's just taking the mick. Like Cucurella's pushing. Like it's annoying. This happens so many times this summer.
Bid for more than 50 million on the table for Cucurella as revealed yesterday night. Chelsea waiting for Brighton to decide. Personal terms fully agreed since Tuesday morning. Cuckoo wants to join Chelsea soon. Talks will continue later today. Levi Cole is still discussed. Before we go back to Cucurella, what's your thoughts on Cole actually leaving Chelsea? Because I feel like, again, it's caused a bit of a disruption across the Chelsea Twitter fan base, Army, because they feel that Colwill shouldn't be sold. They feel that we're allowing another talent, which we allowed like Tomori and Mark Gray to leave, go. Are you slightly annoyed? Would you be slightly annoyed if we did sell him to bring this player in?
Wait, sorry, what was that, bro?
Levi Colwill scenario. So
Yeah.
I was just saying the Chelsea Twitter fan base seems to be going a little bit upset at the moment with the fact that he could potentially be sold. And some feel that he's good enough to stay. Like, what do you feel about him potentially actually leaving the club?
It's just a difficult one, bro, because like I know it's not necessarily his fault, but he was injured in pre-season, right? So I said this the other day. He didn't really get the chance to show Tuchel his qualities and stake that guaranteed place in the squad. I don't think Chelsea want to sell him either because it's also been reported that in the Cucurella deal we said you can have Colwill on loan, so it doesn't seem like we want to sell him, but. If it's in exchange for another very good player, then I'm not too fussed about it, to be honest with you. I'd like a buyback, but whatever we can do really. It's just hard because you can't expect the guaranteed place in the squad when you didn't even play in pre-season. And I know it's not his fault because he was injured, but still, like you know what I mean. Like other players showed more in pre-season, actually played, performed decent, like Kennedy and. Ampadu, and they might not even stay. So why should Colwill stay? It's just based off the reputation that he's got due to one loan. I mean, he's a very talented player, but like, what do you do? If you're Chelsea and you get a bid in, like, we also need to sell players, and unfortunately, we've seen over the years that the academy players are so much easier to sell than our dead wood players like Alonso and things like that. So the club's in a difficult position.
I agree. I think the club is in a difficult position. I think the club ultimately may have to sell some of their top prospects to get the players required that they need now to back Thomas Tuchel. Not that I don't feel that Thomas Tuchel looks at Cole as not an option as, rotation and whatever, but he is still ultimately young. He may be a top player, but it's a tough one, isn't it? It really is, because he would bring back up in a 3. He would bring back up in a 4. Ultimately we need backup in the squad anyway. Haven't got backup in the squad at the moment as well. And letting Cole go is a hard one. But if it means signing a player like Cucurella to get, ultimately because Brighton are putting us in the position to do so, then maybe Chelsea do look to issue a buyback clause in by doing that. And maybe at a later stage, we can maybe trigger that if he kicks on and does his thing and whatever else. But it's a hard one because we're not going to. The thing is, Chelsea fans, the truth is, we're never going to be able to please every single fan in this situation. Some people will get pissed off with some of the players sold. Some others may be happy. And ultimately, if the path that they're going down is clear, and we, moving forward 3 years down the line because of the signings we've made this summer and next summer, you see a progression. You see Chelsea growing as a team, getting closer to the cities, getting closer to the Liverpools. This whole thing of selling Cole will disappear. People won't think about it anymore. It will just be about the squad we have now because everything's working, everything's ticking, the manager's getting the best out of the players. And ultimately, it's going to be interesting because Cucurella, which is where we're going to go to next, can play as a wing. I think he's being brought in as a wing back. I think he's being brought in to provide backup to Chilwell. Some feel that he's also being brought in to play as a left centre back if we don't get Fofana, which means you would have him as a left centre back with Thiago Silva and Koulibaly off the right, and then you have Chilwell off the left. I think what Cucurella gives you again is he gives you options. He gives you the opportunity to adapt to a different system, a different style, and utilize him in different ways. And if you look at the players, and we're going to go through them a bit later on, actually, if you look at the players that Chelsea are trying to target, they all have something in common. And we'll talk about that a bit later on in the show as well. Some people feel that Cucurella is better than Chilwell. Do you feel that Ben Chilwell's looking a little bit under par recently through pre-season, Pies? Some people were saying that he don't look the same at the moment.
Yeah, he wasn't great, but it's early days. But by adding Cucurella, we have plenty of options, and we need really good depth if we're gonna catch City and Liverpool. Like I see people moaning, like, don't get Cucurella because we have Chilwell. Like we also have Emerson and Alonso. Like, do you want them over Cucurella in the squad? Like, it's just I don't get those sort of arguments I've been seeing lately.
Yeah, I think ultimately the way that we should all be looking at it is it brings squad depth. Squad depth is important, but quality of squad depth is even more important. And competitions for positions should always be that of Chelsea. We should always have players that make players better because they have the quality there. There's no point of having Malang Sarr as backup to Koulibaly, because we know that Koulibaly is always going to be the one that starts it in his own head. He's not stupid. He knows that Malang Sarr's probably not at the level. But if you bring someone that has the quality, that is very good, that's competitive, that wants to start, keeps you on your toes, that ultimately brings the best out of you. And that's what we need to have. We need to have that across the pitch. So I think Cucurella is a great signing. I will take him all day. Staying on the wing backs as well quickly, there was talks about Dumfries on the other side as a backup to Reece James. What are your thoughts on the potential of Dumfries? I know Inter Milan are reluctant to sell him. There was one other player that was being linked to. I can't remember his blooming name, Pies. If we don't get him as well, you might know.
Walker
but
Peters.
That's it. Thank you. Yeah, Walker Peters.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on both these players as a potential backup to Reece James?
Again, it's like, where's all this money coming from? If we're getting De Jong and Fofana and all this, so I don't know. All these are certainly not going to happen, but yeah, we do need some backup to Reece James for sure. But also, we have Ruben Loftus Cheek, who actually looks miles better at wing back, sort of inverted midfield role, than he actually does in a pivot. So Hudson-Odoi's been playing there, so we have got options. It's not like we've got no backup for Reece James. We've just got no actual sort of right wing back as such. Yeah, Walker Peters is an option, as Nathan says. But again, I think Southampton, 30, 35 million, same thing for Dumfries. Don't think it's going to happen for a backup. So I'm still surprised we haven't sort of seen a Dama Traore links yet. I know we wanted him last summer, or Tuchel supposedly wanted him according to Matt Law. So maybe that one is definitely cheaper. I think Wolves were going to let him go for sort of 10, 15 million. So maybe he comes into the fold later on as a cheaper option. But I don't think any of these two are going to happen personally for Walker Peters and Dumfries.
It should do. When I kept mentioning the fact that we need to have the balance and spending smartly, not always buying that big marquee player, but buying players that have quality as ultimately not just starters, but backup, but good backup that can maybe force themselves in the team, maybe keep that person on their toes. I think it would be good, but ultimately, at the same time, we have to be realistic. And when I say to people that Chelsea will not sign all of their targets that they need this summer is true. You know, we're struggling to still get the centre-back area sorted, which I thought we'd have sorted 2 weeks ago. You know, we're still in that position. Obviously, Cucurella comes in, he gives you wing-back backup for Chilwell. I think that's a great idea. I do feel that Reece James needs to have some sort of backup. If, again, the stopgap is Ruben Loftus Cheek and we use him as rotation there to give James a break and whatever, and he keeps himself fit, maybe we have to use that as a stopgap for another season. Doesn't mean it's the long-term idea moving forward for Chelsea, but ultimately it allows us to move forward with the option, you know, and having players that as an option in them positions. And I don't know. I don't think Ruben Loftus Cheek. I know you said that you think he plays better than he does there. I don't preferably like him in that position, even as a wing back. I think offensively he's good. I just think defensively, I'm a little bit. I think he sometimes gets caught out of position and whatever else. Well, maybe that changes later on, but we'll have to see what happens there. I think Kyle Walker-Peters is a good option. I really do. I think he would be a good shout. Again, the problem with him is price tag. It's money as well. So backup is important, but not spending stupid money on players as a backup option is another thing. So bear that in mind as well. Guys, nearly over 1,000 of you here. Big up to every single one of you guys that are in here. Make sure that you're smashing the like. Subscribe to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. We're 90 subscribers away from hitting 7,000 subscribers on GNA TV. So if you've not subscribed to GNA TV, please subscribe to that. It'd be lovely to try and beat the 7K mark today. Let's try and do that together. And Chelsea Fan TV subscribers as well. Please make sure you subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV and like at the moment. We've got 238 likes with 581 people on Chelsea Fan TV now watching live. And on the Chelsea Fan on the Chelsea Fan TV, on the GNA TV side of things, we've got over 400 people here with only 159 likes, guys. So let's catch up. If you haven't hit that thumb, hit the bell notification, and hit that subscribe button, guys. Hit that subscribe button as well. Interesting one to talk about next. Frankie de Jong. Before I do that, I did put a poll out earlier, actually. Where is it? The poll was a question asking, should Chelsea sell Colwill? We've had over 150 votes on this, and we've got 59% saying no, with 41% saying yes. So most of the Chelsea fanboys in the chat at the moment feel that Colwill should be kept rather than sold. Just a good feeling from that as well. But I want to move on to Frankie de Jong, because Frankie de Jong is an interesting one. Seems like apparently he don't want Man United. He prefers to go to Chelsea over Man United, probably because of the Champions League football option. But Nathan Gissin came out earlier on saying that Chelsea are negotiating with Barcelona for Frankie de Jong. The deal was driven by Todd Bowley, who is really keen on signing him. Tuchel is approved and is also keen. The priority for Tuchel still remains the defence, such as Cucurella and Fofana. Now, if we do not sign Fofana because of the price and because Leicester will not delve, even though I feel that Fofana can force them to drop that a bit, Frankie de Jong is the player, Pies. What are you saying? What are you saying about a deal for Frankie de Jong?
Baller. He's a baller, bro. Yeah, I'd love Frankie at Chelsea. He'd be fantastic. Our midfield would be one of the best in Europe, I think, and maybe the best. I mean, Frankie, Kovacic by itself is just, you know, different thoughts. Like, it's fantastic. Then you have Jorginho, Kante, Carney. Like, I don't know what would happen with Gallagher. But you know, I think he's a fantastic player, bro. And also, the best thing about this would be obviously pissing off every single Man United fan. This guy's been their main target for months, and he still hasn't joined. So imagine we just came in, convinced him. Yeah, thanks, we'll have him. That would be amazing. It would cost quite a lot of money, probably about 70 million. But you know, this would be a statement signing, as the comment says there. He's a fantastic player, elite passer, great dribbler, great in tight spaces, fantastic on the ball generally. So, you know, like he would be so good in our team, bro, for sure. He would be sick.
How does he fit in the system? And I'm doing a FIFA squad builder as we speak at the moment, and I'm sticking it to the 3-4-3, which is what I feel we may start with. Only not to say that we won't go into the 4, but again, two only having 2 in midfield. Some people feel that, let's say a small minority of people feel that even though Frankie de Jong's a good player, maybe we won't get the best out of him because of the way that we set up. How would you fit him in a free system, and who with?
I think it's interesting because he does play as a 6 for Netherlands, so I think you could move to a 4 at the back. You can also just play him in the pivot with probably Kovacic, maybe De Jong as the sitter, or you could do Jorginho and De Jong. You could do. I don't think Kante and De Jong would necessarily work, but I mean maybe. I'm not sure, bro. To be honest, it's not for us to decide. That would be up to Tuchel.
100%. But, ultimately, it's very good to look at. And if we did get the players that we need to get in, let's just say we don't sign. Because ultimately, the way I see it, I don't think we get Fofana and De Jong. How much is De Jong at the moment? How much is it? Are they saying they want for him?
70 million, yeah.
Sterling or euros?
Million.
Okay. Okay. So sterling, though, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, pounds. All right, cool. That's a lot of money. Yeah, Chelsea are not spending that on. But I'm going to be serious. I'll be shocked if Chelsea spend that money on both players. I don't think they will. Ultimately, I think what Nathan Gisson said there about prioritising centre backs is probably where your answer is at the moment. I feel that he would probably potentially want Fofana over De Jong for the defence, because I think he prioritises the defence as more of a thing. I think if he looks at it and goes, well, I've got Kovacic, I've got Kante, I've got Jorginho, I've got Gallagher, I've got, the young lad we just signed, Carney, as well. There is options in the midfield. I ultimately don't feel that De Jong to Chelsea will happen, even if he wants Chelsea. Not to say that I don't want him. I just feel that we don't get both, unfortunately. I have put a poll out asking people about Frankie de Jong to Chelsea, yes or no. At the moment, it's 91% saying yes with 9% saying no. So strong part of the Chelsea fan base saying that they feel that's going to be the case. If you played him role, Jorginho, I don't think you could play him and Jorginho. I think he would have to play next to Kovacic, but ultimately he would have to be the one that sits more out the two. I think that's what we would have to see with him. We know he's very good on the ball. He's progressively very good moving forward with the ball. He can create. I think people worry about him defensively, though, in the Premier League. Is he able to hold his own on his own? Do you feel that's something that he will be able to do, or do you think there's somewhere that it might be able to be exploited against him, like a bit like the Jorginho thing?
I mean, it depends. Depends what formation we play. If we play this, I mean, again, depends how sort of, maybe you'd see sort of. Just looking at the lineup here, maybe you'd sort of see. Trying to think maybe Koulibaly in the middle, but then you've got sort of Silva. So yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't know. Maybe both wing backs don't bomb up as more. Maybe one stays back to provide additional cover. There's a lot of tactical things you could do with it. I mean, if you played a 4-3-3, then he could play as the lone 6, but then you could have Mount as maybe his responsibility to stay back while Kovacic goes forward, or maybe you could do it vice versa. So yeah, there's a lot of options. I just I think he's a fantastic player. He's still not the profile really that like we don't have an out and out DM. So obviously maybe that will come next summer, but I feel like if the opportunity is there to buy De Jong and you have enough money and everything else makes sense, then for sure try and get him, because you're gonna, these sort of players aren't available often.
So, but Ben Jacobs said that Barcelona want around 80 million euros for Frankie de Jong, having previously asked a slightly higher 85 million from Man United and Chelsea are now in direct talks. De Jong has been consistent that he wants to stay, but refused to take a pay cut. He is more open to Stamford Bridge than obviously Old Trafford, is what it says there as well. Chelsea have asked for guarantees if they move, the saga won't drag on. Unlike MUSC, they will get a player buy in early if things progress. They want Bernardo Silva, Barcelona. That's the next player they want. But ultimately, they want to obviously have to sell De Jong to get that to happen. Laporta's come out and said himself that he cannot say categorically that Barcelona president Lionel tells Benja it's not impossible for Frankie de Jong to join Man United, and responds to reports he offered the Dutch midfielder to Chelsea, which is, there's a little thread there on CBS Sports Galazzo with him talking on there. You haven't checked that out, make sure you check it out. And there's quite a good thread there from Ben Jacobs to check. If you haven't read it as well, go and check it out. Interesting stuff. Over 1,200, over 1,100 of you guys here at the moment. Smash the like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel as well. We're about 70 subscribers away from 7K on GNA TV. So if you're new, please subscribe to the channel. Let's get this to 7K by the end of this show. Also subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV as well, guys. Over 700 of you guys over there. Over 400 on GNA TV as well. If we did switch to the 4 in the back, you could still sit him. You still have to play as a 6. But what the question would be is playing him in a 4-3-3. If you play in a 4-3-3, he would play there with Kovacic there, and then you'd have James over there, Koulibaly with there. You'd look like something like that. But obviously, I think you'd probably play. Who would you play in the middle? Would you play Mount? Did you play Mount, Kovacic, De Jong, or would you play Mount further up and play like a Kante in there? I wonder what you would do with that.
No, he'd play Mount in midfield, I think. He'd probably play Mount in midfield.
Who would you play off there then? That's the problem.
I don't know. maybe we'll sign another winger. I don't know, bro. To be honest with you, like, it's so hard to tell what he's thinking at the moment. Most of these signings, you know, there's multiple things. Like, even with Cucurella, you can play a 4 at the back. You can play him in a 4-4-2, and in the left mid, then you can play Chilwell at left back. Like, you know what I mean? There's so much stuff we can do with these players. I think the emphasis for Tuchel is on buying versatile players so he can switch systems.
That's it. And that's what we were going to talk about next, actually. But you're ultimately right. Even if we don't sign De Jong and we go back to, I'm just giving everyone the idea of the different ideas. And we're going to get into that next with Chelsea, that when we sign certain players, and I'm talking about now, say we get Cucurella and we get Koulibaly. So say Koulibaly plays there, and say Fofana. So we end up getting Fofana, yeah, which he's there anyway, right? So you've got Fofana, Silva, Koulibaly. You put Kovacic in the middle there. You play Kovacic probably with Jorginho, yeah. You could play Cucurella there. Then obviously we know Ben Chilwell will probably play as well, but I'm just giving you an example. What looks better for now moving into next season, I feel, is probably this, just because I'm still not 100% sure on Cucurella as a left centre back like that in a 3. I think ultimately you want to see him further up the pitch. I know he can defend, but when you look at him as the player last season and what he did for Brighton, he was up and down the wing. I just think you look better as a wing back getting up and down the pitch. With him and Sterling, that's pretty tasty. I like that. I think that works. With Ben Chilwell as well, you can rotate him and Cucurella. I think Koulibaly would play off the left. And I think Fofana would play off the right if we signed him. And then you'd have Silva in the middle. And then you'd have Chalobah backing up him. You would have, if we kept Colwill, which I don't think we will at this moment in time, you'd have Colwill in and around here. And then Koulibaly covers it, Jorginho, James, and whatever else we do moving forward. I'm surprised Ziyech's still not left yet. I am. I'm surprised he's still even in the team, to be honest. But play a 4-3-3 is what Fofana ain't as yet, for fuck's sake. You know, obviously, we know that. We're just talking about the potentials right now. And we're concerned with Cucurella's height and putting him left centre-back, to be honest, was exactly what I've just said as well. I'm not confident in Cucurella playing as a left centre-back. I think you need to play him forward. Some people are saying Broja should be there as well. I mean, and this is where it ultimately comes to next quickly before we obviously finish the show, Pies, is that when you look at the players that Chelsea are targeting, that they're looking to bring in, that they're looking to... what's this about? Oh, I actually meant to bring this up earlier. 2 seconds. We'll come back to that, actually. This is the same from you, isn't it? So we had this comment here earlier on, actually. Chelsea and Brighton discussing again today. Brighton are pushing for Chelsea to have a first refusal clause on Colwill rather than a buyback. Interesting stuff. We'll have to see how that plays out today with Cucurella, but I think we're coming to the end of this. I think we're going to get an answer sooner rather than later with him. Obviously, we know that David Ornstein put out this comment, this tweet as well. in and around both De Jong and Cucurella. He says Chelsea have offered Brighton 50 million for Marc Cucurella. Not yet done. They seek higher fee and replacement. Cole's top target for Brighton. Cucurella's personal terms agreed. Also in talks with Frankie de Jong and plus hope to strike a deal. So Chelsea are trying to work on both deals from David Ornstein there. And then it goes on to this from The Athletic, which basically states down the players that we're kind of working on at the moment. Obviously, Sterling, Koulibaly, Slanina, Carney's been signed. He could potentially have an involvement as rotation in the first team. Cucurella's pending, Frankie de Jong pending, and you could probably throw Fofana in there as well. When you look at that, Piers, when you look at them, a current crop of players, and you look at what Todd Bowley and Thomas Tuchel are trying to do, if this gets done, how impressed are you of Chelsea's first window and what they're doing?
I mean, that right there is a very, very impressive window for sure, just based off the players. We'll have to see how they fit in the team profile-wise, but just on their names, it's very, very impressive. And of course, in there as well, we might even get another attacker if sort of Werner or Ziyech leaves, or even both. So I think there could even be more on top of that as well, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I agree. I think that you'll see a lot of outgoing still, a lot more coming in. I think it's going to be crazy. I think you're going to see that we've started the Premier League and we're still trying to sign players. Players will come in while we're starting seasons and whatever else. And, ultimately, it's just bringing them up to fitness, getting them mixing. And do you worry about the whole, even if we sign these players, do you worry about Chelsea for the season still? Do you, just because of the no pre-season, not having enough time to play with the squad? Or do you think because we're signing players that are predominantly played in the Premier League other than Koulibaly and maybe De Jong, but even if we don't sign De Jong, we'll get Fofana, that's another Premier League player. Do you think that they will adapt quicker than we expect, these players?
In terms of the ones from the Premier League?
Well, no, I'm just saying overall, when you look at this team, do you worry about it, even if we sign these players, about the adapting period because of no pre-season and stuff like that as well?
No, not really. I think Cucurella has already sort of been training. So, yeah, I think that the advantage of signing Premier League players is, I think Tuchel already said it the other day, obviously they don't have to adapt as much. So, yeah, I think De Jong maybe will need a little bit of time, but he's such a good player that I don't expect sort of him to take long if we do sign him. Carney, obviously a bit different. He's younger. But again, he won't just be thrown into the team anyway. It'll be, limited minutes or certain minutes throughout the season. Koulibaly, we're going to see him at the weekend, but so far in pre-season looks very, very good. Sterling looks very, very good. So I think, we're doing a good job to target Premier League players, and I think you've seen that again, even through sort of right up until the Kyle Walker-Peters links. It's another Premier League player there. So yeah, we haven't shopped in the Premier League for a while. They do obviously cost an even more premium price sometimes because it is Premier League to Premier League, but it's definitely the way to go.
I agree. I think Chelsea are probably realising that the players that they're bringing in with the time frame and everything, buying the Premier League players gives us the opportunity to allow these players to adapt quicker. I agree with you with De Jong. I think he's ultimately very talented. I don't think he's someone that needs time to do it to adapt and would fit in straight away. Cucurella will fit in straight away, I think. Fofana, if we sign him, I keep saying it, Fofana or De Jong. I don't see us getting both. If we get both, well done, because it's even better for us. But I just don't see Chelsea spending that kind of money on both. I think they may commit to one. We'll have to see what happens with that. Cucurella is obviously the first one that I think we need to get done first. And ultimately, Piers, we've not really spoke about any forwards. And obviously, we heard Ronaldo maybe being an option to Chelsea at a later stage. But are you confident with the forward line, with the Mount, Havertz and Sterling combination?
Not really, no. I still feel like we need another attacker or two, for sure. I want Ziyech and Werner to go, preferably. We definitely need at least one, but yeah, for 60 games a season, that front line can't run, for sure. We need more options. We just do need more options. Pulisic, for me, has been really, really bad, especially in pre-season, bro. He looks like he can't even be bothered. I don't know why he's not transfer requesting because, yeah, he's been very, very disappointing. Yeah, we do need at least another option.
We need other options, and ultimately, what are the options? That's the problem, isn't it? What are the options moving forward? He's been put on transfer market, and that's why we're looking at him. I don't know what they're talking about there. Someone saying they'd like Zaha at Chelsea as an option. I don't think Chelsea will be looking at him. I don't think even we've spoke about Zaha. Some people feel they won't challenge for a league without a better offence. Where do you see Chelsea finishing this season, Pies, if they have this? Let's say we don't get De Jong, but we get Fofana and we get all them. Where do you see Chelsea finishing?
I mean, it is so hard because obviously injuries that plays a huge part, but I still think we'll finish third, bro. I do. I think we'll finish third. I think try and close the gap a bit. Yeah, third probably. I still feel like we're the third best team in the league, and on one-off games, I still feel like we can beat the top two. So, yeah, I would say it'd probably be another third place finish, but with hopefully less points to the top two teams. So it's we're closing slowly, and then we can eventually pounce on them in a year or two, hopefully.
No, I hear you. I hear you. I feel third is opportunity. I mean, I see a lot of people feeling that Arsenal and Tottenham are better than Chelsea at the moment. I don't feel that personally. I think Tottenham are better on paper with Basuma, but defensively, I'm still not sure on them. Arsenal, I think, have balanced their squad well, and they do look good. It's just the consistency, and I think it's also the manager that they have. I'm still not 100% sure with Arteta, so we'll have to see at a later stage. But Chelsea, third should be happening. I mean, Liverpool, I'm still not sure with Liverpool as well. I know they beat Man City the other day, but I'm still just not 100% sure with them going into the season. Unless Nunes really takes off and kicks on, we'll have to see what happens. Broja, if someone just ripped Broja to go, yeah, Broja could give us, something else, which is going to be interesting going into next season, which may accumulate more points for Chelsea. But our defence is going to have to be good. I think we're going to have the same thing as we had last season, where we're probably going to rely on our defence to be solid and then maybe nick 1 or 2 goals. I don't see us blasting teams 4-5-0. I just don't. I don't think we have that forward line sorted yet. I think the forward line needs a creator. I think we need a versatile forward. I think we need someone that can contribute to goals also. Havertz in a number 9 is we're still waiting to see how consistent he can be there, if he can, get the goals he needs. Sterling, I think Sterling's a great signing. I just think the problem with Sterling is I don't think he's enough for me. I think he's good and he offers and he will score goals, but I just don't feel he's enough as well. Mason Mount is overall got a good, his overall ability is good. He's going to have to kick on as well, but ultimately, again, he's not your creator, goal scorer, double digit. He will score goals and he'll contribute to goals, but we still need that ultimate creator, someone to create and be progressive moving forward. We can't do that until we sort out the defence. Obviously, we're looking to sort out the wing backs. But potentially that Carney comes in for midfielders as backup, and maybe we don't get De Jong. Maybe we get De Jong. We don't get Fofana. So much still to happen at Chelsea. So much more news to cover. We will start doing match reactions and player rating shows as well. Match previews as well. So we have got the Everton-Chelsea game, which is the first game of the season to actually start getting into soon as well, which we will do at a later stage. So yeah, you'll have all of that as well. Match previews, match reactions, transfer shows, all the way to the end on deadline day, where Chelsea could potentially be very busy. Who knows? And that might not just be for incomings. That also might be to do with the outgoings as well. So lots to get into as well. Some people saying, I think it's the best bet at the moment is someone like Depay, is what Porto Geezer's saying as well. Fair enough, mate. Hudson-Odoi needs to be loaned for consistent game time in the strongest position. I think it's a big season for Hudson-Odoi. I really think he needs to kick on this season. I think he needs to show us what he's about. You're a fan of Hudson-Odoi, isn't you, Pies, if I'm right in saying? Is he one of your players that you like?
Yeah, I do like him. Definitely agree he needs to kick on, but again, playing right wing back's really not going to help him, in my opinion. I feel like he does need to potentially go on loan and look at maybe playing sort of a left wing spot at some club and just play 25, 30 games a season and really get his confidence back. Because I feel like sometimes he lacks confidence. So yeah, it's a big season for him, bro. Definitely. I just don't think the position he's been put in by Tuchel helps him really at all.
I hear you. I hear you. Matt Laws apparently said that Chelsea are looking for a striker, but he can't say who. I don't know if that means that he just doesn't know, or he does know, or
Can't say.
or
Yeah,
what.
he said it. He said it's an interesting name and that it's a goal scorer. I mean, I have a few people off the top of my head that I think it might be, but
Go
not
on.
too sure.
Who
All
would
right,
you say?
so one of them I think might be Jamie Vardy because he's got 1 year left on his contract.
Really?
I think one might be Aubameyang because of the amount of forwards Barca have, and Tuchel sort of worked with him. And I was also thinking as a backup as well. It's interesting because we've got Broja and Havertz, so I don't know. No, I don't think it's Sesko because the way Matt Law said it was more like a. He said it was like an interesting name. Like we've heard all about Sesko for the last sort of.
It's not Ronaldo then, is it? It can't be Ronaldo.
No. I think it's someone like more out the blue. Like I said, like a Vardy. Don't think it's Depay. It's not someone we've heard. I don't think lately. I was thinking maybe Mitrovic as well from Fulham. That's an interesting shout.
We having a laugh.
I'm just throwing names out there that it could.
No, I'm just saying. I hope not. Blimey, now.
Yeah,
Patrick
I mean he's a goal scorer, right? Mitrovic, he scored bags of goals for Fulham. So I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a starter or anything. It might be a backup. But then again, as I just said, we have Havertz and Broja. So I'm not sure whether. I mean, Matt Law is reliable, so we'll see.
Patrick Schick.
I don't think he's a goal scorer. No, Osimhen's way too much money. It's not going to be anyone like that, guys. It's going to be someone out off
Benteke.
the radar. Yeah, like it'll be someone random.
Ain't going to be that Cornet, is it? Ain't going to be a Cornet.
He's not a striker though, is he? So I don't know. He said it's a goal scorer. So for me, that's sort of 15, 20 goals. Like that's why I was thinking Vardy because he's got a year left on his contract. It's Premier League. We're shopping in the Premier League, but Vardy probably won't go to another. No, it's not. No, not Benzema. Bro, Benzema would be our best fucking player. It's no one like that. It's no one like that. It's someone like out of the blue, off the radar type thing. Like we had like a Kyle Walker-Peters links, right? That sort of link, like someone you don't really expect. But Lottie, I mean, to be fair, it's a decent shout. That's a decent shout. It's a decent shout. He's a free agent. Decent shout.
I don't think so.
Yeah, they're getting along the right sort of lines now, though. You know what I mean? Sort of.
No, it can't be Daddy Ings.
I don't think it's Ings. I don't think it's Ings. Ings didn't really.
It could be Ollie Watkins or someone like that. I don't know.
I don't know. It'll be interesting. He'll definitely reveal it soon, though, for sure.
But Lottie, I'm so intrigued now. I want to know if he's saying that. He must. It must be. Is he saying that we're talking to like we're actually talking to someone about it? Like
no, he just said there's a striker on Chelsea's list, but he can't say the name yet. That's a goal scorer, so I don't know.
Immobile, maybe.
Someone said Mertens. That's a good shout actually because we wanted him before. Mertens is a good shout.
Old though.
Yeah,
really?
he's old.
No, it's definitely not João Felix. I tell you that we are not spending. God knows how much they'd want for. We're actually saying that.
It's not like a superstar. It's someone like, maybe a bit.
Antonio. No, he ain't leaving. He ain't leaving West Ham. I'm just reading through it. Chris Wood. Here we go. Gerard Moreno. He's a good shout. He's actually quite a good player, actually. To be fair.
Yeah, I don't know if you class him as a goal scorer though. He's more of a sort of a false nine, all rounder.
Ibrahimovic. Can you imagine that? He hates Chelsea. He actually don't like us. He's even come out and said it. Schick would be my interesting pipe dream. What we've got here. Oh, it could be. It could be. There was talks about him.
Oh Christ, no. 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 Not Icardi, bro. No, please.
That could be. Oh shit, as well. Maybe he's not a goal scorer, though, really, is he? I don't know. He's had a. Calvert-Lewin. Nah, it can't be Calvert-Lewin.
It won't be anyone that's like a major star at other big clubs.
Ivan Toney. Good shout. Ivan Toney's a good shout. Bring back Eden Hazard. Griezmann. Definitely ain't Griezmann. He's not a goal scorer. Isaac. No, I don't see that. Timo Pukki. No. Enderick. Yeah, it's Enderick, mate. It's like Callum Wilson.
No, he's Newcastle's men's starter.
Ain't Dybala. He's gone to blimmin' Roma. Dybala. Shane Long.
Christ.
Braithwaite. Nah.
Not a goal scorer.
So some people are saying Mertens. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else anyone's saying.
I mean, we don't know anyway. All we can do is guess.
David.
Right now.
David? Maybe David. Ben Yedder. I don't see him being Ben Yedder. Interesting. We'll see, guys. Let's wait and see what. I mean, the comments are coming out thick and fast. Daka, I think he went to Leicester, didn't he? Patson
Not a
Daka,
goal
yeah.
scorer as well.
He's not a goal scorer. We need a goal scorer, guys. Someone that scores double-digit goals, bangs. It's got to be Vardy. When you say that, I think it's got to be Vardy.
Yeah, I think it's Vardy. I think it is Vardy, but we'll see.
Vardy. Why the fuck would we sign Vardy? I don't know. Would they even work? Would they even work in Chelsea? Vardy.
Not really, no, because he's more of a transition player. So I don't know. I think
That's
this might be dependent on Broja leaving as well, because obviously you'd have Havertz and then the new striker coming in. If Broja stays, we're not going to have 3 strikers, because then Broja would never play. So
I don't think we sign another striker. I know he said that there's someone
he
on
did
the
record this a few days ago as well, so it might be a bit outdated. I'm not sure.
Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. All right, guys. Well, we are nearly at the hour and a half mark. We're 5 minutes away. We are going to wrap it up soon as well. I am back, which means more shows, more transfers, this debates. We've got Ben Jacobs on tomorrow's show for lunch. I've just got to confirm that with him, actually, what time he wants. But he said lunchtime for tomorrow. So he'll be bringing us some news. We can start getting questions in on certain players. Maybe, who knows, we might have a striker talk then. By then, if Matt Law releases it later today, who knows? But yes, lots to get into, lots to talk about, lots to answer as well. Piers, you got any final thoughts, mate? Anything else you want to say in regards to Chelsea?
Not really, no. Just hopefully Chelsea do well. At the weekend, hopefully we do sign some more players. And yeah, I guess I should just plug my store quickly. So if you guys want any sort of Chelsea related merch, phone cases or anything, shopcfc365.com. Go check that out. Cheers.
Yeah, go and check
That's
out.
all I got.
Yeah, go and check out Pies, CFC Pies on Twitter if you haven't done already. I'm pretty sure you guys really checked him out, but do that and go and check out the merchandise that he's got as well. Big up to every single one of you guys. Make sure you subscribe though. We're not far from 7K. We're about 50, I think, away, or 55 subscribers. So if you're new or you haven't subscribed to GNA TV, please smash the subscribe button. Yeah, Chelsea Fan TV viewers, GNA TV viewers, if you haven't, go over and subscribe to GNA TV. Let's get this over 7K subscribers. Come on, guys. Let's do that. If we could do that today, it'd be great. Also, subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV as well. Over 300 still on GNA and over 500 on Chelsea Fan TV. We'll be back tomorrow with Ben Jacobs. Big up to the rest of yous. Enjoy the rest of your day. And we will be back again very soon. See you tomorrow, guys. Peace out.